Some sort of energy field.
One thing that feels so uncanny to me about how this show has been working is how it really is connecting with our current pandemic moment.
It's been pretty bizarre. When we first started the show and the concept and pre-pro and most of the filming, it was pre-pandemic, so it definitely wasn't with that in mind. But the way they've sort of lined up the synergy between the two storylines has been pretty incredible to watch.
You know, one of the things that I picked up with the show is the way that the show acknowledges how Black women have been sidelined and marginalized in American television. Like how Director Hayward keeps disregarding Monica's insights and keeping information from her. And there was the whole line about, are you the sassy best friend?
He went there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So what was that something that you guys discussed on set?
We had many conversations, just really trying to find the balance between what we know to be true, which is in the history of American sitcom, these Black characters were sidelined or pushed to the back. And then also in this world, that's not necessarily the case, but we're still paying homage to a structure and a system that it was. So finding the balancing act for that. And then even with myself in performance, what did I pull from? What was my inspiration? Because there is an aspect of it that I did have to lean into in order to keep it true to the time period. But what I love is that we have gotten to see the evolution of where Black women have lived in these spaces. And so she goes from this sort of sideline space to really taking charge with modern day Monica, taking charge and trying to lead this investigation in a way that is empathetic and with compassion and with understanding, realizing that Wanda is grieving and Monica dealing with her own grief of having lost her mother while Monica was blipped away. I think this is her way of unpacking her own grief and trauma by trying to help Wanda through hers.
Wanda, you know I am an ally. I want to help you.
I will say that the show really does seem to be setting up Monica to become the superhero that she does become in the comics.
Fans on Twitter had been fan casting me as Monica Rambeau. So that's how I was even introduced to her. They were like, oh, you would be awesome. And I'm like, who is this? This is way pre-Captain Marvel. I looked her up and then just very casually like, oh, she's pretty cool. She'll never see the light of day. Moving on. So that was really my introduction to her, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago when fans started doing that. And so when she showed up in Captain Marvel as a young girl, I was like, oh, okay. But again, you don't expect that. I didn't expect that she would become a full-grown woman and character in the MCU. So it was a pleasant surprise to learn that not only would I be able to tell this woman's story, but that the world would be able to see another Black female superhero in the MCU.
Monica would be, as you pointed out, she would be one of the very first human Black women to become a major superhero. Obviously, that thinking was that was part of your thinking. I know this is tricky because you don't want to spoil anything.
You could see my feet right now. Okay, I'm listening.
Could you talk at least a little bit about, from a representation standpoint, what it would mean for having a Black woman be a superhero in this context?
It's no secret to any of us that it's not often we get to see Black people in these superhero aspects, but particularly Black women. When we have had Black men, I would say there's been a disproportionate amount of men to women, and that's in everything in life. And if we're honest, so being a Black female superhero is really exciting for me because, and especially in this context, being in a show where you're in people's homes, because I get the opportunity for people to see this Black woman and to empathize with her, to get to know her. I'm in their homes every week. So they begin to engage with her humanity. And I think that's so important. And it's important for young kids of color to see people that look like them, young Black girls, young Black boys, and just everyone.
And speaking of milestones, Nia DaCosta will be directing you in Captain Marvel 2. Did you talk,
Yes.
and you know, she directed you in Candyman, obviously. Did you talk at all while she was in the running for the job?
I've talked to Nia since Candyman, so yes. Like, I don't know. I've just talked to her all the time, so it's not like
About
a
like she's
thing.
you know, you're in a Marvel project, she's going up for a Marvel project. Did she sort of say, "Hey, I'm doing this. Can you
No,
like?"
she did not say that to me. No.
Okay, you feel like you're being cagey. All right.
I'm trying to just, yeah. No, she did not say that to me. She didn't.
Okay. I get what you're saying. And, you know, I'm sure, because obviously you pay attention to what people are saying on the internet. There's been a lot of speculation that the friend that Monica is going to go see might be Reed Richards, who becomes Mr. Fantastic. You know, on a scale of not happening to I'm going to be silent and my silence will confirm your anticipation is warranted, what should we expect?
You should expect to keep watching and find out what happens. Okay, that wasn't silent and it wasn't the other one. So I'm not even looking at you right now. That's how much I'm trying not to get into it with you.